Steve here with Table Rock Tea Company. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. We are out in the field this morning because the plants have finally woken up and it's time to do an initial harvest. Now, we don't traditionally harvest here at Table Rock Tea Company like they traditionally harvest other places. Many of you are familiar with something called the first flush. The flush is when the leaves start coming out after dormancy, and I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. The first flush, traditionally speaking, has been very sought after, very highly prized. It's often reserved for royalty, and the reason that is different is because after the plants have been dormant for some time, when those new leaves start pushing up, there's all kinds of nutrients and just chemical activity in there that are getting pushed up from the roots into those new leaves as we get into spring. That's going to make the flavor very different than any other tea that's there. I wrote an article a few years ago, was not very well received in the tea community, called Reconsidering First Flush in Temperate Zone Climates. And I know it's kind of an academic title, but basically, in a temperate zone, when the plants truly go dormant, I do not believe biologically that that's a very sound practice for the health of the plant overall to strip them of their first new leaves. And so we don't do that here. Now, what I'm doing in this harvest is a very limited, very selected harvest of just some of the, precocious leaves, you could say, the ones that are coming out a lot sooner than the others that might be a little tall, and if we let them go, we'll kind of they'll start to get a little bit wonky. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of a maintenance plucking today, and I'll show you what that is in just a second here. So let me flip this around and you can see our plants. I also have to do some weeding, but here's a good example. So let's see. So if you take this plant right here, what you're gonna have is, again, we're in a temperate zone, so there's a lot of sticks from our pruning. These flushes, which is right here, this new tender growth, are so close to the old woody stem that to rob the plant of that is damaging, at least in my opinion. If you're a horticulturalist, you can push back in the comments or the blah 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 below, but we'll have a debate for sure, because again, we've seen it in years and years of field practice. Now, what I will do is, if you look right here, you can see this guy, and he's really sticking out a lot higher, okay? So even though I could pick all of these, I'm gonna leave these alone. The only one I'm going for is right here, and that's it, okay? That's all I'm picking today. So that way, what we're doing is, again, getting those sort of outliers. We're pruning those off, and that way the plant will continue on through the season even. We're gonna have a bunch of pluckers here this year, and so we wanna make things consistent. Again, I've got some weeding to do in between rows, as you can see. But this is Lazarus Field, and it's finally starting to wake up after the winter of dormancy. So that's what I'll be doing this morning on Mother's Day. Again, happy Mother's Day, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned to see what else is brewing here at Table Rock Tea Company.